Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, so we're going to go around the table, recognize guests. Who do we have on the Zoom meeting?
We have a Bob Harnish, Robert Weatherby, and Norman.
So Norman.
Cohen.
Cohen, okay. And John, Rowena, Mike, Sue, Angie, Kelly, Larry, and Justin, and Joey.
You gotta stop.
Yeah, I had to stop. Yeah, I'm getting old.
You're getting old.
Yeah. So, all right, so we'll start off. Who do we have on Zoom? We'll get that taken care of.
So if we want to start with Norman Cohen.
Yep, Norman?
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Have you started your meeting?
We are starting, yes.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for giving us some time. I want to thank your town clerk, who has been very accommodating and cooperative through the whole thing. You're very fortunate to have her. With me is Bob Harnish, and we're here this evening to talk with you about and hopefully to influence you to adopt the Vermont Declaration of Inclusion. Bob actually is the founder of it. We now have 5 members. For quite a while we had 3. And before I start and give a brief summary and then turn it over to Bob, would it be helpful for me to read the declaration? Have you had a chance to read it? Other people in the audience who are attending who are not, so they'll know what goes on.
If you want, go ahead and read the
Yeah,
declaration.
just basically the board has read it, so.
Okay, just take a moment or two. The town of Richford condemns racism and welcomes all persons regardless of race, color, religion, national origin, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity, and expression, age, disability, or socioeconomic status, and wants everyone to feel safe and welcome in our community. As a town, we formally condemn all discrimination in all of its forms, commit to fair and equal treatment of everyone in our community, and will strive to ensure all of our actions, policies, and operating procedures reflect this commitment. The town of Richford has and will continue to be a place where individuals can live freely and express their opinions. This Declaration of Inclusion effort actually started in the town of Franklin, which adopted it, and Bob will go into some of that. We now have 135 towns and municipalities in Vermont that have adopted the Declaration of Inclusion, and it's almost 75% of the population of Vermont lives in those towns, and we would love for you to be 136. Governor Scott is behind the effort, and each year he has issued a proclamation establishing the second week in Vermont as Inclusion Week, and the state has, he has issued on behalf of the state its own proclamation of inclusion. There are lots of questions people have. One of the most frequently have is people ask us, why do we need this? We're a welcoming town already. And our feeling is that, you know, we sometimes may create the feeling that we're being accusing, and we're not. What we're trying to do is ask you to promote that characteristic, that asset, so that everybody knows it, inside and outside of the town, and people know that this is a place they can come and move, come and open a business, they'll be welcome. Um, but Bob will give much more history of it, and I'm going to turn it over to him. If there's a nit or two that Bob doesn't get to, then I'll try and fill it in at the end. Bob?
Oh, thanks, Norm. Yes, good evening, everybody. Yes, your neighboring town of Franklin adopted a declaration of inclusion, which our declaration is modeled after. And I learned about it through my cousin, who is chair of the select board, and he passed it on to me. And I then presented it to my town of Pittsford down near Rutland, and the neighboring town of Brandon, and both towns adopted it. And at that point I thought, well, maybe this has the wings to fly throughout Vermont. And as Norm says, at this point, 135 towns have adopted a declaration of inclusion. And so it's a simple idea, and it's a statewide initiative, as Norm says. 135 towns have heard our presentation at a select board meeting such as this. Those towns, those men and women have discussed the merits of the idea, the moral aspects, and the economic imperative, and voted to adopt. That's, and as Norm says, 75% of Vermont's population lives in those 135 towns. So we are asking towns to endorse a statement that basically says, we reject discrimination, we welcome people to our town, we want residents to feel included and safe in our community, and the town commits to fair and equal treatment of everyone, employees and residents alike. So there is nothing political here. It's simply a call for respect toward all. People crave respect, and will move to find it. So who is behind this effort? And as Norm says, it's just Norm and myself and 3 others, citizens driven and by the idea that we want Vermont to be a healthy and thriving and growing community of people. So we have the backing of many major Vermont organizations. The Vermont League of Cities and Towns, for example, the Vermont State Chamber that promotes business throughout the state, the Vermont Council on Rural Development, the Office of Racial Equity, and as Norm said, the governor himself. So this is a statewide effort asking select boards to take the lead in their town for moral reasons, but for economic reasons as well. Our state population is stagnant. Our young people are leaving for better opportunities, and our population is aging. And this is not a formula for a successful economy that can maintain infrastructure and services throughout the state in the future. In fact, it's estimated that in the next 10 years, 100,000 working Vermonters will be retiring. And are we going to have new residents to fill those positions? As the 2020 census showed, our population is basically stagnant and aging, and our young people, in many cases, are leaving for better opportunities. I hope that you will think of all the good that can come from every town in Vermont endorsing and implementing this idea. It's bigger than one town. It's important that towns band together, through the state, make a statement to the world at large that we want new people and we welcome diversity. there's really no downside to adopting this statement. So in closing, let me just refresh in your mind the key phrases of suggested statement. The key phrases are rejecting discrimination, welcoming people and people of diverse backgrounds. We want residents to feel they belong and are safe in our communities, and the town commits to fair and equal treatment of everyone. So I hope that there will be a motion, we hope there'll be a motion to adopt this concept in order to open discussion. And we'll stand by for further comment and to answer any questions. Norm?
Yeah, Bob has just about said it all. One question we have asked before is, who's financing this? And look, there is no one. We have no budget. It's completely volunteer. We have no budget. We've conducted no fundraising. We have no checkbook, and we've accepted no donations. This is just started out as 3 people, now 5 people who just love Vermont. Only one of us was born here. The rest of us have moved here anywhere from 30 to close to 55 years ago, made it our home, raised our families, and we want to see it keep growing. So that's what we're about, and open for questions. Hope you have some.
Does anyone have any questions?
Norm, have you provided the town clerk with the declaration that you read?
Yes.
And is that pretty much standard language that most towns have adopted?
Yes, that's what 95%. Some people have tweaked it a little bit, but it's basically been adopted verbatim.
Okay.
Have any towns not adopted it?
A few. Others have postponed it, still talking about it. I think 3 or 4 have turned it down, and we expect to visit them again and again.
Can you tell us why they turned it down?
We don't know. One adopted it, then turned it down. Just maybe we're under some misapprehensions that we didn't clear up in our remarks, and they didn't raise them to us. So it's a mystery to us and a bit of a sore point, and we're determined to try and change their minds.
I see it's basically just basic human rights being articulated in a statement. So I'll make a motion that we adopt the Declaration of Inclusion as read by Norm and provided to Kylie.
Okay, Wally's made motion, Sherry did seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, one question, please. If you'll sign it this evening, we'd appreciate it if you fax it back to, or email it back to either Bob or myself. We don't list them until we've had a look at it and make sure that it's hasn't been changed and that everybody needed to sign it, did sign it. So.
Okay.
Okay.
So we'll get it signed and sent to you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Have a good meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you. Robert, you still on there?
Yes.
Do you have anything?
Bob Weatherby.
Bob Weatherby, I'm sorry.
Weatherby, sorry.
Yes.
Sorry about that. We had 2 Bobs.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
First of all, I'd like to go back to the emails I got on the violation of the open meeting law, where Alan said that you guys are responsible for giving everybody answers and concerns to questions and things. You all remember that?
Yeah, can you be more specific? Like what, I mean, you're going back a long ways now, Bob.
I went back that far.
Well, do you have specific time frame?
Well, that's all you gotta do is check on the emails you sent to me,
Yeah,
and you will see it.
okay. So do you have a specific question?
Yeah, how come I'm not getting any
So,
answers?
so Bob, we were going to invite you to a meeting separate of your choosing, a time, and we are ready to provide you, or attempt to provide you, with the answers you're seeking. So, if you want to think about a time or set up a time now, we will make ourselves available.
Whatever time you guys want to get together, because you're always changing the meetings and everything, so I never know what's going on.
Okay. We will.
I'm free all the time, you know that.
Alright. We will discuss it and have Marissa email you. Does that work?
Yeah, sure will.
Okay.
Is that all you have, Robert?
Yep, that's all I have.
Okay. All right, so I'm assuming these Richford, are you gonna talk individually, or do you wanna just collaborate all together? This is on the dry hydrant, I assume?
Yep.
Is that correct?
Our mayor's right there.
Our mayor?
I'm gonna start with the reason that that hydrant was put in. I talked to Paul Martin, and the reason it was put in there, because I went and checked with my insurance company. They said if there's no hydrant there, insurance rates are going up on the properties.
Yes.
And I'm not sitting here bullshitting either.
Yeah.
And we don't need to have our insurance go up just because there's no hydrant there. The hydrant was put in, but it was never maintained, whether it was Paul or you guys. You guys are supposed to maintain that.
Okay.
And if you have a problem with the state, I'm sure if you talk to the state and get a state engineer up here, they could come up and get something that's feasible.
Well, Larry, I have checked into it, and I've got actually contact people that I'm looking into right now.
Yeah, because if and when our insurance companies find out that that's not operable,
Yeah.
you know what's gonna happen.
Well, the other question is, can it be put in so it's operable? That's the other thing, because
There's plenty of ways that can be put in. You go and find an engineer that knows what he's doing,
okay.
and there's quite a few different ways. I worked construction for many years, and you run into some problems with waterworks.
The thing is, I don't know the laws. No one, I
No,
don't believe
but you
anyone
can
at the
look at- you
table,
can
but
look-
this is why we're getting someone from the state involved to see what we can do.
Yeah,
And
because
that's-
I'm sure,
I'm not making any promises on what we can do, because I don't know them yet.
well, when you'd find out,
Yeah.
because I'm sure that the state, if they had a choice of either protecting the fish or letting the house burn down, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand,
There's a fine line.
I understand.
The thing is, it's, because we're all, 5 miles from the fire station, and that's the cutoff
Yeah,
for insurance. I know my insurance went down when they put the hydrant.
Mine too.
Yeah, mine did do it.
So as long as there's a hydrant less than 5 miles away, you're fine?
yeah, that's what was my next question, is,
I
I
was,
mean, we have a hydrant that's down in Stevens Mills, or, Haggerty Road. There's
Is that
one-
a dry hydrant though,
It is
like
a-
ours is?
Yeah, it is.
So, is working, or do you know?
It works to some degree. We can pump water out of it, but we can't get the flow that we want.
So when these are, I'm sorry, not to cut you off, but so when these are put in or decide to be put in, is an engineer contacted to decide what's the best way to do that kind of thing, or you just kind of just wing it and stick it in?
No, I don't know. I honestly
Okay.
don't know, because these were put in long before my time.
No, I understand.
And that's, I'm not clear on the proper procedure on, are they engineered? You know, I don't know if this was something that we just, the town of Richford threw in a line and.
Made it look good.
Exactly. I can tell you
It's not very
that
comforting.
none of them have strainers on it, and, you know, when we
Yeah.
pull from there, we're always pulling
Right.
rocks out of our strainers from our pumps, so,
I mean, we must have to pay for water if somebody else is trucking that water in.
no,
We don't?
no.
Another town comes and helps
No,
us out, you don't
no.
have to?
So how that works is, there's an agreement in Franklin County Firefighters Association. We all pay dues, $125 a year. And Richford could get called in to go to Enosburg, Berkshire, Sutton. We all do it, and they come up and they work for nothing, and, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's, actually, the whole thing is a service from the town. You're not,
I understand that the volunteers don't get paid, but I just wondered about the whole,
actually.
their
the vol-
entity, you know what I'm saying?
The
How it's
volunteer,
compensated.
you know, they do get paid through their own towns,
Right,
and we have to get
right,
paid, I
okay.
guess. I was told years ago because of workman's comp.
I see.
So we get paid, you know, the hours that we work. You know, I'll be upfront with that, but as far as, you know, the service of the town, we have a budget the town gives us, and we work off that, try to buy equipment, and, you know, everything else that goes along with it, so.
Well,
but-
I would hope and think that if they're putting them in all around the state, that, I mean, we're not the only ones, obviously,
No,
that there's gotta be a way to make it feasible.
there
I mean,
is,
We have
there
the
is.
water right there.
My concern is that brook is just not really deep, and the hole actually over in, out from Haggerty Road is a deeper hole. And the other dry hydrant is over on the Berry Brook Road, and that's pretty good size hole. We gotta be, you know, Wally mentioned today, or just before the meeting, we were discussing it, in Derby's old farm, they had a manure pit. Is it a pond now, or what? Is it?
I don't know if they have that right.
I think there used to be a pond there out back of the barn.
Because that's, you know, that might be something that we could look into.
I don't know, I couldn't tell you what it looks like right now,
Yeah,
because it hasn't been fooled with in a long
That's
time.
private property now.
but we'd have to get
Yeah.
landowner's permission,
Yeah,
so,
I mean, a lot of these go across private property.
yeah. Now, there's another thing that was brought up tonight, Wally had mentioned it, the water source for the town of Richford is up that way, and it's gonna come down and cross 105 somewhere. Can we tap into that and put a hydrant off from that? Which would be an amazing water source for fighting fires.
Yeah, it's right there, George Briette's, right there, it runs right there.
That's where it goes?
Not too far away from the house.
Yeah.
Just out back or
Yeah, I
somewhere.
think there's a
across
pipe
there.
out there's a marker out there.
Yeah, so it crosses the road somewhere, so
Yeah.
we just,
So are we able to, you know, tap into that source and use that, which that would be a great,
I
something.
mean, is that gonna, would that make our insurance company happy?
I don't know, that's.
Well, you mentioned the 5 miles, so that would definitely put it,
Yeah.
Within 5 miles.
would put you within the 5 mile limit,
I
but
mean, when Richford Fire shows up on scene with all the water trucks, you're talking, you know, 6,000 gallons worth of water.
Yeah, but that's fine and dandy, but it takes a little bit to get that
Yeah,
rolling.
yeah.
And I saw when, you know, when Chuck's place there was burning down, I mean, it took,
Yeah.
I mean, there was some cross fingers there for
Well, it's
you
a
know.
matter of manpower and getting, you know, because, you know, not everybody on the fire department is always in
Yeah,
town.
yeah, oh, yeah,
so.
yeah, we understand that.
Yeah, the thing is, like Mike says, I didn't understand that.
Yeah.
But if you get a house fire that's really going
Mhm.
and within minutes, you know, and you don't get there in time.
Yeah,
I mean, we were
You know what
lucky
I'm
with
saying?
Kelly's right next door.
yeah.
Yeah,
We're very,
Kelly was
very
right
lucky
next door.
right there.
I will put out, you know, the one down right in town on Union Street, we got called out
Yeah.
4 o'clock in the morning. That's a lot, as I'm sure everyone knows, that's a lot worse shape than that house up in East Richford, so it's, and everything was right there, we had hydrants right there.
Yeah.
So it depends on what it is, and,
Yeah. Well, it's the same, like if it got started like, Sue's house
Mhm.
and Larry's house and Philip Trace's house and Kim's house.
So,
I mean, they're all right there like that.
So, in case like that had, I'm looking at it as you're saving property, you got a piece of property, there's no one in, and it's already burning, it's pretty much a loss now. It would go right into, we'd be putting water on Kim's place to protect it. So just so you know what I'm thinking when this is going, it's already caught fire, we can't do much more than calm down the fire.
Yeah.
Why can't they dig that brook out some?
That's a question I gotta ask, can we?
Yeah, the state.
Yeah, that's.
Because,
But again, that's only a temporary fix.
I know.
Because I mean, every time you get a heavy rain or, some sort of flooding, the debris, silt, dirt, gravel runs down.
Yeah.
So I think
because
whatever,
I asked,
whatever solution we come up with has to be more permanent.
Yeah.
That,
yeah,
Well, it's just like Andy said there, to build an eddy either down at the bridge or up by.
Right, but the question
the
is,
Derby Farm.
can we do that? That's the
Yeah.
question that
Yeah.
I gotta ask, and,
Yeah.
can we rightfully do that?
Yeah.
Is it gonna disturb something? I don't know.
But-
Yeah, if we had an eddy there where, had a deep pool off to the side where you can run a pipe in and protect the pipe with some blocking, that'd be great, but I don't know if we can do that.
Yeah, or do a thing like remember I was telling you I went up to the reservoir there, and something like that where
Mhm.
the water comes in, there's grading where stones don't get into it.
Yeah,
You
the
know?
strainer,
And a way to clean that out,
yep,
twice
right,
a year or whatever, backhoe or something,
Yeah, make it big enough so that you can clean it out with a backhoe, like he says.
Yeah.
And I'm not just speaking to these guys, they speak for themselves, but you gotta remember, there's people up on the hill too.
yep.
You know what happened with Shepherd's Place a few years back, that went down, and now you live up there too.
I was up there too.
So, there's more people up there than you think.
Oh, I know there's people up there, Larry, in Shepherd's. I wasn't at that fire, I was on the department, but I wasn't at that fire at the
Yeah.
time, so.
I know that one went up pretty quick.
Yeah.
who's responsible for the brook itself?
any waterways, state of Vermont.
Because
You have to get permission.
I had the town go up because all the rocks on the bank are gone back down into the brook, so all the water's going on my land. And he said they weren't responsible for that, that was up to me.
That's a good point she's making, because over on my line, I lost a tree already, and you go up there and you take a look at that, it's all washed out.
And he said that they couldn't dig, he didn't think they could dig in the water. Well, they did the whole road up through by my mother's old house.
Yeah,
They
got
dug that all out.
Yeah,
They had to make it.
they
They
get
should,
them out of the brook.
they should have just kept going down through.
Yeah, but I think that was the town that did that, right? The town crew?
Yes.
That was part of that was part of it was part of the FEMA project.
Oh, yeah.
And they got,
I'm
Was that
surprised.
during one of the floods?
yeah,
Yeah.
they
Cause that road washed out.
yeah, they were doing stoning and other things. So that was state approved to do that work. So I mean, potentially, I don't know the rules, and I'm not gonna pretend I do, but potentially you could get some sort of permission from the state, which probably, no matter what, if you did decide to do something in the brook, is gonna require that.
Yeah.
I mean, so I guess all we can tell you right now is Andy's working on it. And we'll provide an update when we have one.
There's grant money out there for this, and there's also some ARPA funds, so that's my goal this year, is to see what we can do.
I was gonna say, you should be able to get a grant to put in something.
There is a grant, there's a matching grant, I think up to $10,000, I got the application right
Oh,
here.
you do?
Yep, so, I've got that, and I got a guy I want to talk to and see what we can do.
Yeah, because, it's a concern to us.
My intent is to hopefully invite him up here, get a meeting, and we'll take a ride around Richford, see what is feasible and what is not
Yeah.
feasible, so.
Could they talk to the state about the brook?
Yeah, this is the
How
guy,
all those banks are washing away? His
I can mention it and he might be able to
I mean, if you
direct me
ever-
where to go.
sometime after a while, it's gonna be going.
I got the barn right there too, that's getting thinner and thinner.
Yeah, if you ever get a chance to
Putting a
go.
hydrant down by, the Briette place, it doesn't alleviate the thing being 5 miles from the fire station. East Richford's 5 miles from the fire station here,
Right,
you know, so that doesn't cure that.
but you're less than 5 miles away from the hydrant, right?
Right, it's a hydrant.
That's from there
It
to,
all, yeah, it all depends on how it's all worded.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's all stuff Andy's gonna have to figure out.
so if you, so does your insurance know of this or no?
Years ago, I switched insurance. I had one, and they upped it. It was like $1,200 more
Okay,
a year because I was over 5 miles from the fire
fire
station.
station,
Station, not hydrant.
right,
I switched, and the other one, I don't know, I'm about 750 a year now.
okay,
And they've never questioned. I think when I filled everything out, I was honest about it, but I did what, it was almost $2,000 a year it was gonna cost
I
me.
was just curious on how it was worded, you know,
Yeah, but it was because I wasn't close enough to the fire station,
right.
not the
Because the
hydrant.
response time is gonna be, you know, 5 miles away, you're 5 miles away, we can only get there so fast.
So they ask you, do you have a fire hydrant in your town?
Yeah, that's what they
That's
asked
the
me.
question, so we say
Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
So
when
fire
it's-
hydrant or a dry hydrant, you know,
Well,
that's, yeah.
I just said yes.
I told them to dry hydrant.
Yes,
You know?
yes,
Like,
But that's, my insurance company, that's the first thing he asked me about, how far away I was. And I said I was 5 miles from the
That's what
fire
He's off
station,
anyway.
yeah,
not a hydrant.
right.
That's what I think I said with the new one.
And that's,
I'm going by
that,
what they're saying.
that's probably what has got you right there, Larry, I'm thinking. Because you're 5 miles away, your response time, and our tanker will only do 55 because it's governed, it's such a
they
big
didn't
truck.
ask me if it was dry or not, I didn't offer any information either,
Yeah, so.
I'm sure.
So are we all set on this for now?
Yeah.
Now,
Get the engineer to look at it and see what they say.
yeah.
What they get from
So
after
we
they
can-
decide what they want.
No, you asked me some other questions while I got you here about the water project here in town, and I figured, well, we're on camera. We might as well talk about what you asked me about the water project.
Yeah.
What was your first
My
question?
question is, it's gonna make all our taxes go up,
Yeah, and
and you said,
no, because you are outside of town, you're not on the water and sewer. You're not within the village limits, the old village limits. It's only gonna affect the people that are currently on water and sewer. And I went on to say, it's a $1.1 million project, correct? Half of that is it's basically a grant, is that correct? It's granted, so they're paying for half of that project, so that leaves us with $550,000 to spend.
And
That's over on a loan for a 40-year loan at 0%. Kylie, I think she calculated it up for the water and sewer, was it $13 or $18 per year?
18.
$18 per year per village taxpayer. So the village has already,
Well, it's not so much the tax, it's
water
the
source.
user, not a tax.
yeah, the user,
Yeah.
yeah.
The water
The
and
ones
sewer
that
bills.
pay the water and sewer tax already, that's who's gonna pay the $18.
Per
You and I, we're out of town, we're not going to.
But
So
we really shouldn't be voting on it.
Well, that's the thing, it's written up to where we have to as a town, and that's the part it's misconstrued, because why am I voting on something that has nothing to do with me, is basically what we're doing. So, come town meeting, you're gonna have that question. The thing is, if it's voted down, it's gonna cost more in the long run, because the state's pushing us to do this. We're gonna have to eventually do this, and I don't know that we're gonna have the opportunities that we have right now.
The grant funding may just go away.
Yeah, so I would encourage people to, think about it and vote for it.
so you're upgrading every single hydrant?
No. What the project is, they're replacing a line on Golf Course Road, And what it is, it's not putting enough pressure up towards the end of the line on Golf Course Road. And they're gonna run an 8-inch up to the cemetery, and there's gonna be a pump station there. And the pump is gonna pump into a 4-inch. And there's gonna be a fire hydrant right there, and it's gonna pump into a 4-inch up to the remainder of the line, that's the existing line. They're gonna replace it because the plastic pipe that they have in there is not sufficient to hold the pressure that they need to. There is a hydrant at the top of the hill, they've gotta take that out because it does not meet the standards that we need for a fire hydrant. It's gotta be at least an 8-inch line for a fire hydrant, and it's only gonna be a 4-inch, so they're actually losing a hydrant on that road. But we have 1,000 feet of line on the 2 pumper trucks that we have, so.
So does that affect the whole town?
Yes. It's gonna affect just the water and sewer.
Just that area?
Just the water and sewer people.
I understand that, but it will affect every hydrant, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But every person that pays for water is gonna have to pay for that.
Yeah, because it's like a cooperative, everybody pays it.
Right.
Because I mean, if next year,
We're looking
somebody
at-
on the other side of town needed a water, it's like everybody,
It's a joint effort.
everybody chips in.
Yeah, we're looking to do Noise Street now because we've had quite a few breaks on that. It's an old line, so, yeah.
I do just want to, can I just add to, there is going to be another informational meeting at town meeting. Is it Wayne Elliott, the engineer? He will be there. Hopefully, we're trying to get him to come up, but he's gonna make another presentation. There is also the presentation from before the vote of the Special Service District. That's on YouTube through Northwest Access TV. So you can go on and watch that presentation, and that could potentially answer some questions as well.
Alan, do you have anything you want to add?
Just a couple things. Like Andy said, this isn't something the town elected to do. The state is mandating we do this. It's like, if we have to do it, and we lose, if this gets voted down at town meeting, we lose the grant, it's gonna end up, something we have to do is gonna end up costing us more. And the only reason, you're being asked to vote on it at town meeting is to comply with the terms of our charter, which really is outdated and is something.
So will that be put on the ballot, like that the state is
No.
pushing us to do this?
No, we
or
can't.
not? We can't do that?
You can't word anything like that.
It's gotta- yeah, so.
But yeah, we had to do a lot of exploring and understanding to understand the process that it required 2 votes. So.
Do you have anyone have any more questions? Feel free to reach out anytime. I will be working on this. I don't know how, quickly it will be, but I'll be working on
As
that.
long as you're looking into it,
Okay.
it's a big thing.
Just like to say you did a wonderful job with that fire.
Yes, you did.
With my neighbors, I'm so,
Yeah, you guys are real
I got
close.
home from work.
That's what I mean.
I came home and expected the whole side of my house to be charred.
That's what I was doing.
And I was very impressed.
I do have,
And-
sorry, go ahead.
No, you guys did a fantastic job.
Thank you.
You told me that you had one of your fire engines that didn't pass inspection.
We have,
What's wrong with that?
well, E1 is, right now, we're having troubles with, there's a ground in it. You'll go down the road and the lights go off. It's old, it needs to be replaced.
I do have one question.
Sure.
When they came to board it up, there was some people came and boarded it up. What did they tell you?
They were gonna come tear it down in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So
That's the insurance people. It's nationwide insurance.
Okay, so that's what I was wondering, is that who's in control of that
The insurance
decision, you know what I
company
mean?
is, yeah.
A lot of times, the property owner will hire someone to come in and do that,
Yeah.
right? They're not capable, she's not alive anymore,
Yeah.
and he's certainly not capable of making that decision, and
The insurance company had contacted me and actually wanted to meet me up there, and I got up there and he says, don't bother, I took enough pictures.
Okay.
He couldn't really,
so now it's just a matter of waiting for them to come in and.
yeah, and then the town might need to nudge
Yeah.
the insurance company to
I see.
take it.
Cause it'll be nice, it's quite a nice door. I mean, I know it's not really the proper time of year.
No, I get it, I wouldn't wanna look out my window and
And
see
it's
it.
really valuing Kelly and
Oh, it does,
the property.
breaks my heart every time I turn the
Wait a
corner.
second.
Yeah,
Didn't like the man, but.
Hey, Robert?
Would not wish.
Oh,
He left, or did it end?
it ended.
Oh, wait, whoops. We wanted to see if he wanted.
And I need to leave, I gotta go to a concert
Okay.
in
Yeah.
Enosburg.
thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Alright.
I was curious about that, who, she hit over that, you didn't say who he was or anything,
Yep.
you know? Just curious, who pays for that? You know, who is it, is that a town thing? Usually towns don't, I mean,
Yep.
I would think. Like,
No, well, the town for the house you need?
yeah, to have
No,
that taken care of,
Yeah, it's the insurance company that's
Okay.
supposed to, so.
good, that's good to know.
Alright,
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Eric, you walked in?
Thank you.
Come on in, have a seat, Eric, there's plenty of room now. What we-
Just keep
We're all clear on out.
Yeah, we'll call if you have any questions.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
I'd like 10 minutes at the end of your meeting.
Okay. John?
Remember last fall, it was brought up by the people that living in Pine Haven Estates or whatever they call it down there,
Yep.
that people in the old brick house was parking so close they were having trouble seeing to get out of there safely.
Mm-hmm.
I had a complaint from one of the residents last week. I did send the owners of the brick house a letter last fall, but apparently they still park there. I went down there today, there wasn't anything parked real close to the road. There was a snowplow laying there. But I don't know if that's anything you could do as a board, like to put up a sign about no parking, because it, does cross on, even though that's a private road, I understand, it does cross into a public road. So I don't know if you could put up a no parking sign, or,
So, I can attest to that, when you come out of there, no matter if he's parked to the white line or if he's parked just one vehicle right there, you can't see left. And when I lived down there, I almost got tagged, I don't know how many times coming out of that driveway by cars. That is a very so when he parks his truck where he normally parks it, you're only about 4 feet from the white line. So when you pull up 4 feet back on a normal vehicle, you're still back behind his vehicle. It's a blind side going down through there.
He's got a lot of stuff on that land too.
Yeah, but maybe, he's probably entitled to that.
Yeah.
As long as he's in his property right away. What about getting one of those mirrors and sticking it across the street that points in the direction that's of danger.
And the other side has the same problem with the trailers that are close, they park off the road. When you come out of when you come out of B is a blind spot from people coming from the village of Richford. That trailer park area has always been there. Well, we went there not too long ago for an accident because of that.
Yeah, but I think, on that side, I think that is, I would say, at what point, where does this become the property owners?
Problem is that house is close to the road too.
Yeah, I'm saying on that side, but the other side is all connected to the Pine Haven Estates and.
Do we send Pine Haven's estate, so?
Well, I'm just saying, for the one that Joey's talking about now,
We had that accident last summer,
yeah,
because they
but
couldn't
I'm-
see when they came out.
But I think they would be responsible for creating the environment, the safe environment for pulling out, correct? It would seem, where does that fall, John? Who,
Well, as far as the zoning, I can tell them they have to keep 10 feet away from their property line.
Yeah.
Which is the setbacks, that's supposed to be kept clear.
But would that make a difference in the brick house?
But is that the same as with someone's driveway? You tell them they have to be.
Well, see, it's a
10
private
feet?
driveway, so I don't know.
I'm saying, there's a lot of driveways that are like 20 feet deep and people park.
Yeah. So, can you look into it more?
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
If you check the orange book, which Slim would have a copy of, to give you all your state regs on how far back from intersections you have to park.
Yeah.
There you go.
And they park right up on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have anything else, John?
Oh, for Sherry, about getting the heat fixed in my office.
Yes.
When John Mercy was at my house cleaning my boiler, he said he was waiting to hear from you how much money you wanted to spend for him to replace, find another radiator to put in there.
I told him to find one and give me a price, and he hasn't given me no price yet. I'll get hold of John tomorrow,
Okay.
and I'll find out if he's gotten some ideas of what
But
prices
yesterday
are.
morning, it was very cold in there.
Yeah, I bet it was, yeah. We're hoping to redo the heating system in this building in the next year or so.
And I leave the door open most of the time, because otherwise, I've had stuff in there, it freezes solid in there.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's not good for the computer and printer to
No.
freeze up.
When the ambulance office was up here, we had a heater we put up there and just left it on.
Well, I have an electric heater, but I don't want to leave it on in case of a fire or something.
Is it just an issue with the radiator itself?
The radiator is cracked.
It is bad.
There's some, there used to be anyhow, some radiators in the basement of the post office building. I don't know if one of
I
them
think I
could
had, when
be.
we were over there, when he was doing the boiler, I had talked to him about it, but he said something about the line going to it or something. I'll get back to
Because
John
it did get
tomorrow.
turned on when I first moved in there, we must have hit it with something, and then water was leaking
Yes,
when the heat came up into it, and then it
sprayed it.
leaked, yeah.
Yeah, I'll talk to him tomorrow, but I will mention that again about those over there.
I mean, there's that one out here that was on the wall, but, because it's a wall radiator. It was here in the hallway, and
Yeah.
then they put in the new lift, they
Yep.
took it down. It's under the stairs there, but it doesn't have any legs on it. It'd have to be hooked to the wall somehow.
Let me mention that one to him too, and find out. Okay.
Now, John, I got a question for you. What do you know about 1977 Corliss Road?
This number sounds familiar, but I can't.
Apparently, it's some land that was owned by Emily Fleury. She sold it. She had it, looked into. She had to engineer it and to put a system, septic system in. It was going to cost her $30,000, and she decided not to. And they sold it, and I guess the people on it right now have a tiny home, a camper, and a box storage container.
Okay, yes, I have sent them a letter, but I haven't heard back.
Okay, because there's people on that road concerning that they're not paying the taxes they should and things aren't done properly, so.
Yeah, because they did get a permit to build a house, was it
Right.
2 years ago?
2 years
Okay.
ago.
And they never did anything.
Okay,
And then I got a complaint from one of the neighbors about they had a tiny house there and a box car.
okay,
And I wrote her, I think twice I have, and I haven't heard back.
okay.
They had other things, they had more than one box car, they got rid
Rid
of
of
one
one, I
of them,
think.
and then,
Okay, so we need to, stay on them pretty good,
Yeah.
so, okay.
And I don't know, Eric, had you found the tiny house? 'Cause remember we talked about it,
Find a tiny house for what?
on that lot on Corliss Road.
We're assessing it as a camp
Yeah.
at the moment.
Okay.
But the last time I talked to the neighbor, he thought there was 2 different families living there, one in the tiny house or whatever you call it, and somebody living in the camper too.
That's the impression I got, and they mentioned someone was paying rent as well, so I think probably should look into it pretty good.
I'll just send them a formal violation,
Okay.
because they haven't she hasn't responded, and last time I talked to her, she was real nasty. She hated Richford, she was getting out of here, we were too mean, and
We are.
Okay.
Anyway.
Rowena, you have something?
when we get to buildings, I'll have one, and, with the town crew and stuff. But one of the first things, the signage for the voting that was, last week, why was there not a sign out there determining that there was voting going on the Tuesday? I mean, it looked like, I came up to the town hall at 6 o'clock, and it was like I had to double check the electronic sign to see if it really was voting, because usually there is a sign out marking a polling place when we have a vote going on, and there was nothing there. I mean, and
I can't answer that because I don't know.
Well, so when we got the electronic sign, that was to replace the
Okay,
what is it called, the sandwich board.
Yeah.
For voting, and then there was the multiple meetings, that it was mentioned in select board meetings that there was voting. There was, we posted the voting, I think it was posted at the
So that's
post
basically
office.
taking the place of the clamshell.
It was posted in the messenger.
But the problem is, when you're driving down the road, you can't read everything that's on that electric sign as you're driving down the road. It does not move through, does it?
Can you lock it for a day?
Yeah, that's
So it doesn't cycle?
Yeah.
I mean, we could just have one thing on there when it's voting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can.
That's what you're gonna, because I mean, every other town you go through, when they're having a vote or whatever, there's that little sandwich sign out there or something that says voting here.
Would that solve it for you if the sign was locked?
I think there needs to be something so people are
No,
reminded.
but what I'm saying
that they're-
is if the digital sign was locked and it didn't change,
If it says voting here today, yeah.
okay, so I think that's an easy solution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do that.
So, okay, and then I had somebody bring up a couple of concerns, and one of them was about with the policing. Apparently there's one of the businesses in town has been broken into a couple of times, and they said that the people that are responsible for it are just bragging about it and claiming that, yeah, they got away with it twice, they're gonna go for a third or fourth time. So I was just wondering where we were with, as far as like the police, and if the sheriffs, I know they said that they're shorthanded. I mean, everybody is, I get it. Is there anything that keeps us from, with their contract, that the town could think outside of the box and maybe go to another town and see if they had another sheriff's, or sheriffs or town, and say, hey, you got somebody that will come over for 8 hours, you know, once a week or something?
We have explored entering in new contracts with Orleans. They expressed some initial interest but decided not to take it on.
Okay.
We've explored, we are continuing to explore other, then were we reaching out to just have a sit down with Enosburg at one point?
Yes, we're
Yeah.
supposed to have it sit
Yeah.
down.
For the departments that
Yeah.
have been talked to, though, they've come to the same problem, they're low on manpower.
Yeah, that's what Orleans said they would have had to hire, and right now, to do the contract, and they just, same
Yeah,
thing.
you don't have the people, you don't have the people.
And so
Right.
that's our challenge, and I mean,
Okay,
it's not, we're not ignoring it, it's just, it's one of those handcuff moments.
okay. And then, water and sewer, Alan, did you say when the new, what the procedure had to go through, or something, when we were gonna get the new water and sewer guidelines and regulations? Was there something else you had to go through?
Well, we were waiting, we wanted to see what the legal description was going to be for the special services district, which we have gotten that. So now it's just a matter of us taking that, putting it into something that's readable, and then getting that incorporated into our new rules. And then as far as I know, they're gonna be ready to roll out.
Okay.
But we were held up by that and, budget and, but
Okay.
we are still working on it.
Okay, just wanted an update. And I noticed in the minutes from the last meeting that Sherry had brought up about you giving money to the Easter egg hunt, and that was the amount for last year. What is that amount?
$250.
Okay. Because it wasn't in the minutes.
Town didn't give last year, did they?
No, we didn't. It was
It's probably-
before the COVID thing. We
Yeah.
gave $250. So when I came in to see Marissa, we looked it up. It wasn't in last year's budget, but it was the year before we had given the money. Last year they didn't ask for it. The year before that they did, so we decided to go back to the prior year that we gave them money, so.
Yeah, at the time of the meeting, we didn't know the amount, so we
Right.
had to do the research.
Yeah.
That's why it wasn't in the minutes.
Yeah, okay, good.
Okay.
And then I'll pick up the others when we get to those.
Eric, you said you wanted at the end of the meeting under other business?
Yes, I would like a mini executive session, please, to
Okay.
discuss the contract.
Okay. All right, so at this time, we're going to go for approval of the 2/5/24 meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve them.
Second it.
Okay, motion made and seconded. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passed. So we can move on to highway.
Snow-wise, pretty mellow winter. They did have to do a lot of early mud season work last week. Hauled a lot of gravel out when the roads finally froze up on Monday and Tuesday after the warm weekend we had. So they've got them back to all passable. They're rough, because there are still ruts that are frozen, but they're passable. So that was a few days work. And other than that, I think the town has been doing some right-of-way cutting of trees and stuff since the snow's not deep, and just doing some general work as they can to keep busy, being their slow time other than plowing.
And I had a question on, with the plowing, it was brought to my attention, and it was a safety concern that they came up, is that, and it's a hard road to do, is Town Hill. And apparently, and I can see if you go down Town Hill the right way, you're gonna be coming right out into that intersection, which is a very lovely intersection that nobody stops at. So that's kind of a problem where you're plowing the snow. But then they're going and they're plowing, they're going up the wrong way. And, it's, what if somebody's coming down that hill? There's nobody up, it's a safety hazard, I guess, in both ways of when they're trying to plow this. There's no place to push the snow if you come down the right way, because you're going right out into the intersection. So that's why apparently they go up the road the wrong way,
So
which
I
gives you a
guess
problem.
My question is, they have lights on that are going, right? They have their flashing
I
lights.
don't know, I'm not, or flashing, or
Yeah.
is there anything with noise or anything so that they can be, I just don't wanna see them
They're
winding up in an accident.
What their light? Whenever they're plowing, their lights are on.
Yeah.
And the strobe light is going. I understand what you're saying. But like you're talking, you basically described the logistics of what's going, the challenge. Honestly, I wouldn't be disappointed if we knocked that street off. You're like you said, it's dangerous coming down. There's multiple ways to come off that hill without going down that street. I don't know what it would take to do that, but I don't see why it has to continue to be a street.
You got one apartment building on it.
Yeah, but but they can go up. You could block it off after that driveway, and they could go up. They don't have to come down. So that's my personal opinion. I don't see why it has to continue to be a street.
Flip your direction of your road. Make it an up road.
Well, people go up and down.
Yeah, they're not supposed to, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
We see
yeah.
it all
So
the time there.
I hear what you're saying. I don't know what the best solution would be to cure that. But do know their lights are on, flashing
Yeah.
as they do it.
They don't have anything else that, you got the flashing lights, but sometimes you gotta put the noise too. And
Oh, at 2 o'clock in the morning,
Scraping
people get
Yeah,
very
yeah.
upset.
Yeah, most of the plowing, most of the time when it's plowed is in the morning.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Is that it for Okay.
for his.
buildings?
Not a lot going on, looking for grates for the ambulance side station for the floor drains. Got a couple good ideas tonight, so I will be checking on those tomorrow. Besides that, same people I'm gonna be talking about with the grates. I'm gonna be talking about with the railings for the stairs, post office in here.
Okay.
So pretty much that's where we're at.
Okay.
Now, the buildings with the library, that's the spring that you're gonna be getting the roof fixed? Is that lined up?
Yes,
Bruce Lee-
we've still been getting quotes on that. I have 2 people looking at it to do a quote to be able to fix that where it drains down, so it won't be going into that valley, and that's the problem. The valley's been patched, but it's just a bandage. So that's, the ice comes off one roof, comes off the other roof, lands there, it doesn't go anywhere, backs in. So it's a bad design.
Yeah. I noticed with the railing there, as you come out of that's,
People
it's
keep
just
sitting on it.
just sitting there. That's, to me, is a safety hazard. I mean, I literally barely touched it and it's turned. It's somebody that really needs to grab a hold of the railing and goes down there. They hit that, they're gonna go straight down.
We've had that fixed twice in the last 3 years, and the people sometimes hang out there, and they're sitting on the railings, and that's what's causing it to break.
You're talking this wide of a space, and it's rusted nails and stuff. But if you're not going to fix it, then maybe you need to cordon that off so that people don't go down that way on that side.
Yeah.
Before somebody
falls.
And the third thing with the library, it was a little disconcerting that their public bathroom there is not lockable. It does not, the door does not lock. They have signs there that says like occupied, and you hope that, you know, you're not walking in on somebody or somebody's not walking in on you.
Now, the locksmith was supposed to go over there.
The library?
Yes. So I will contact him again tomorrow. Yeah, when he was coming here to Richford to do another lock here, he was supposed to go to the library.
As of Saturday.
Okay, I'll call him again.
Okay, thank you.
Water and sewer. I'm coming up blank other than we had a discussion with Jeremy.
Yep, we had the meeting about a study being done on the sewer lagoons. It will be paid for if we go forward with it. I don't know if we've gotten the actual letter to sign, but this engineering company will do a study of our sewer lagoons. And it's just to give us recommendations and suggestions as to how we can best reduce the level of phosphorus in our system. And they will look at, you know, the chemicals we put in, the procedure, the dosage, and again, give us recommendations about anything we can do different or better or whatever. And it is beneficial for us in the sense that, you know, the state's very serious about dealing with the phosphorus issue, and this could help us a lot so that, you know, at least in the near future, we're not going to have to look at upgrading our system or putting in a new system or anything like that. So something that's beneficial to us. The cost is going to be very minimal. I think she said a couple $100.
Yeah.
How was that?
Yeah, just for testing.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Yeah.
The only other thing I had under water and sewer was that, I don't know if anybody saw the article in the Messenger last week about the golf course project, but they had the wrong cemetery in there. And we're not going all the way up to that other cemetery. We're only replacing the line that's there now and not expanding it. Because I know I've talked to some people who saw that and wondered why we were going, extending the line, and we're not. It's the article in the Messenger had an error in it.
Okay. Good. I hope we have all those questions answered.
So how far are you going?
We're just replacing what's there now. We're not extending it. It's going up to the end of the line on golf course.
Which is before Richardson's new house, because they're not on the system, right?
Richardson's is on the system.
Yeah.
Which, are Richardson's on?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're the last house.
Yeah.
So. Okay. And other than that, Jeremy, there was a leak on Green Avenue, and he still doesn't really understand if it was a valve that just needed to be reseated or what. It has gone away. I know they did some digging, just trying to find it. Yeah, other than that, I don't have anything. Town administrator update.
Okay, so first off, on the library note, they asked me to bring up, they received a grant for $15,000 to replace, or they were awarded, I should say, a grant to replace the windows over at the library.
Okay.
And then there's a contract, I guess it's a kind of like an increase in contract, for Deer Run. They're increasing their mowing contract by $1,100, because the Richford Center Cemetery has added on. So it brings the total amount of the contract to $45,410.
And that's for all they do in town, not
That's
just,
For
not, let's
everything, not
just be
just
clear,
the
not, it's not,
cemetery,
it's
that's
not,
for the
not,
whole mowing
Yeah.
contract, everything that they do in
Yeah.
town, yes.
So
They're just adding on that.
$1,100
So it's like an addendum.
It's $1,100 extra for the Richford Cemetery.
so we need a motion to agree to that?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion.
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passed.
Okay, and then I received a phone call from a Samantha at the St. Albans Probation and Parole Office. Someone in the office used to, I guess we used to participate. What they do is they would contact us if someone needed to do community service. She just asked if we wanted to stay on that list of contact.
Yeah, and there's no harm in staying on the list.
No, I agree.
So it's not an obligation on
Yep.
our part. If we have community service work that needs to be done, then they
Pick
would
up
send
garbage on
somebody.
Main Street or?
Yeah,
Yeah.
anything, yep. And then, so we have the scoping study, the sidewalk scoping study. We had a firm and they backed out.
Yeah.
Is that my
Yeah,
understanding?
and then,
So then we have a new firm. So basically we have to have a motion to
and just tell us who the,
accept,
It's-
which is
was it our-
VHB.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the full name is, I guess. But it's we need to accept a proposal
So-
from them.
so we need to make two motions, my
Two
understanding.
motions,
So the
yes.
first is to, accept the company that, right, I'm not wording it properly, but accept,
We need to, to contract
we need
to
to,
use them as the,
yeah, to accept
provide.
as the VCHP or whatever.
the
you got.
VHB
Yeah, as the
as the firm.
as the firm, and then we have to make a motion to accept one of two proposals.
So, yes.
Yeah, so let's, I mean, if you guys are, I mean, there was only three, one backed out, and this is the next lowest bidder.
Okay.
So if we have a motion to accept this firm for the scoping study. And then, I mean, you have the specifics, but basically, they came in overbid, I guess,
Yes,
over the grant amount.
yes.
So there is one option that is, it's like 3,500, or you have the exact amount.
So it's, the proposal is over by $3,152.
Yeah.
So we would have to increase.
That would come out, we would have to cover that, on top of our $10,000 match for this scoping study.
Okay.
So that's, or we can ask for reduced services,
Yes.
you know, we can approve reduced services.
Which is, they revised the proposal, they took some things out, it basically reduced how many hours they're.
Yeah, so I'd bring it down to
Yeah.
cover the exact amount. So, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, we have two proposals, do we wanna come up with an additional, $3,200, right? For the.
3,100.
Yeah, for the scoping study, you know, in addition to get the full scoping study they proposed, or do we wanna go with the revised version?
What do you suggest? Go with full or?
I mean, I probably would at this point, I mean,
I agree.
yeah.
Okay.
So so it says, should the select board, there should take action on whether to contract with VHB for the original
Yeah.
proposal, and then direct myself and Greta to coordinate with VHB to prepare the contract.
Yeah. So,
So that's what we have to have.
yeah, so we'll make a motion to contract with the, based on the original proposal, and authorize, who's this lady again?
Greta Brunswick,
yeah.
she is, she's contracted
Yeah.
through NRPC
Yeah.
for municipal
Yeah,
project
yeah.
management.
Okay.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion passed.
And that's all that I have.
Liquor licenses and.
Oh, yes, actually, that's not all I have, let me find my notepad. So Kylie wanted me to ask for approval. The state switched how we renew our liquor licenses. It's now an online portal. So basically, the businesses in town who have already had a license previously, Kylie's just looking for approval to be able to just approve them, as long as there's no changes. The only time that she'd bring it to the board is if there was a new business that was requesting a liquor license, or if there was a change to the other.
Do you see
we
a
have
problem with that? I mean, Alan?
I don't see a problem with that.
Does the
As long
liquor
as-
board have to approve of this, or is it the select board? Do we have to come out of our select board meeting and go in? I believe we do.
I would
Yeah.
say so, yeah, cause it's a separate.
Yeah.
So basically what you're looking for is us to delegate the authority to Kylie to
Yeah,
approve them?
so it would be, I think, the liquor license board,
Yeah,
right,
Right.
would have to delegate Kylie to be able to
I think that's
approve.
what's gonna take place.
I think so too.
So they got a motion to come out of the select board meeting and go in, another motion to go into the liquor control board, I guess that's what you'd call us.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion,
Okay,
and I have to abstain.
Yep.
Abstain.
I'm gonna say I'm here now. Now, this is Robert.
Yeah,
we can hear you.
We've, sorry, the meeting expired and Marissa took a little bit to get it back logged in. Sorry about that, Robert.
No, my minutes ran out just as you mentioned my name.
Oh, well, ours law, on our end, the meeting ran out, so she had to log in again.
Right,
Yeah.
I got it. That's why I'm back on.
Okay.
So Sherry's making a motion.
If there's something I can wait till next meeting, wouldn't find, because I know Wally wants to get up to a basketball game.
No, we didn't. The only reason I mentioned your name is I was gonna give you a heads up, we were about to lose you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you then. Thank
Yeah.
you, Marissa.
Yeah, you're welcome. Who wants a second?
I'll second
Come
it.
out of
Yeah. Then make a motion to go into liquor control board meeting.
Yeah.
Okay. So Kylie's looking to approve these as long as they've
as long as there's no changes and no new
applications.
applications.
Okay.
I guess I could vote on that.
I'm
That
good.
doesn't go against anything.
Yeah, we're
I'll
not
make a
waiting on
motion.
anybody.
Yeah.
Motion to approve that. Yeah.
So how do these come to her, or come to the town? If it's all in a portal now, just out of
So
curiosity.
she has login information. It comes to.
Was she given an alert that somebody's?
Yep, so
yeah.
it comes right to her email.
Okay,
Yep.
so she gets an alert, then she goes in and says, okay.
And then we approve them, and
Alright.
they don't get approved until they've paid the town fee.
Okay.
All right, so Sherry's got a motion.
I'll second.
Wally seconds. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passed. Now I can get a motion to come out of the liquor control board.
I'll make a motion back.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Go back into.
Executive?
No,
Well, we gotta-
regular select board.
We gotta go regular select.
Back.
Oh, right, select board.
Yeah. Go back into the select board meeting.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So we have parks, playgrounds, and cemetery.
I think the only cemetery, the only thing we had was the cemetery, or the contract. for
The
that.
contract, so.
Yep.
yeah.
And she's not here, so we don't know if there's any other.
So now we go on to other business, dry hydrants. I think we've talked about that enough.
Yep.
Addendum to the crash contract.
Yes, so Kylie asked, we need an addendum to extend our current contract with Weatherby's Trash Service.
Okay,
So we need to meet with John, I believe.
Yeah.
okay.
So the trick is locking him down to
Yes.
get him to meet.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'm thinking if we come up with a letter, we can have him sign it, we can go over and see him and have him sign it at his work.
yeah, I mean,
And then at the end of this year, it would go back out to bid.
yeah. So
And
do you
then we
want
put it in the newspaper and we put it out there for other contractors.
So do you want to have Kylie write it up and you
Yes.
bring it over?
So, yeah,
And the addendum's basically just continuing under the term, the existing
Right,
term.
same,
Yes.
same
Yep.
fees, same prices, everything
Yep,
until the
the
end
current,
of the
yeah, the
contract.
current, it's just
To get us through.
extending the current, what we already have in place.
And so we know what we wanna do and what the town wants to do as people
Right.
and see
So-
where we go from there. Gives us more time to get this figured out and then
Yeah.
if we stay the same, we put it back out to bid.
So I'll make a motion that Sherry work with Kylie to get an addendum signed with,
Okay.
with John.
I'll second that. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. Is there any other business?
Not that I can think of right now.
So Eric, did you have something?
I got it on my list,
Okay.
thank you.
Eric, you're requesting to go on executive to discuss contract?
Okay, I'll make a motion that we go to executive.
Eric, will there be a vote coming out? Possible?
No, there won't be.
There won't be? Okay. All right.
Who seconded that? Sherry?
Yeah, sure. Whoever.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
That's at
Not out of my
6:60.
office.